Hello, my radiant and magnificent Leo souls. Welcome back to Cosmic Wisdom, your sacred space for remembering the brilliant, sun-drenched truth of who you truly are. I am your guide, and if these words have found their way to your heart at this very moment, please know with every fiber of your majestic being that this is a divine appointment. You are guided here for a reason. Pause with me for just a moment. Let's create a sacred container for the truth that is about to unfold. Wherever you are, I invite you to gently place a hand over your heart. Feel its steady, powerful rhythm, the drumbeat of your own universe. Take a deep, intentional breath in drawing in golden cosmic light. Hold it, feeling your inner sun expand. And as you exhale, release any tension, any doubt, any story that has told you that your light is too much. Because, my beautiful Leo, we are about to journey into the very heart of a paradox that I know your soul has been wrestling with. Have you noticed it? This sacred and sometimes searingly painful truth. The more you step into your own divine light, the more you heal, the more you awaken to your authentic self. The more the world you once knew begins to tremble and crack. Your family looks at you with worried eyes, asking what's happened to you. Your friends, the ones you used to laugh with under the moonlight, seem to forget your number. Your partner, the one who once adored your shine, now looks at you and says, "You've changed," and it sounds not like a celebration, but a bitter accusation. If this is your reality, if you are standing in the brilliant, blazing light of your own becoming yet feeling the chilling winds of separation and misunderstanding, I need you to hear this. You are not doing anything wrong. In fact, my magnificent friend, this is the undeniable sign that you are doing everything right. You are answering the call of your soul, and the entire cosmos is rearranging itself around your courage. This isn't destruction. This is the holy fire of alchemy, and it is burning away only that which was never truly yours to begin with. To stand in this fire with courage, to declare to the universe that you are ready for this profound transformation, I want you to make a sacred pact with your own radiance. Go to the comments right now and declare, "My light is changing my world, and I am ready." See this not as a simple comment, but as an energetic seal upon your journey. And if you have not yet joined our tribe of Cosmic Wayfinders, press that subscribe button. Become a part of this sacred community so you never miss a transmission designed to illuminate your path. Now let us dive deep into the heart of this great mystery, shall we, to understand what is happening in your kingdom. Dear Leo, we must first speak of the invisible architecture of our relationships. Before we ever spoke a word to our parents, our friends, our lovers, our souls made agreements. We entered into what I call sacred energetic contracts. These are not conscious vows, they are silent psychic handshakes made in the subtle realms. You, with your vast and generous heart, likely agreed to play a very specific role. You were to be the sun, the one who warms everyone, the one whose light provides clarity and direction, the one whose steadfast presence makes everyone else feel safe and seen. You were cast as the strong one, the creative one, the charismatic leader, the pillar of unshakable confidence. Your family had a role for you. Your friends had an image of you. Your partner had a need that your brilliant, consistent light fulfilled. And for a time, this cosmic play worked. This arrangement created a kind of psychological and energetic container. It felt like love. It felt like connection. It felt like belonging. But I want you to look closer, my dear friend. Was it truly connection, or was it a beautiful, intricate cage of cosmic codependence? You see, this fusion of energies, this participation mystique, as the great soul explorer Carl Jung called it, is intoxicating. It soothes our deepest fears of being alone. It creates a predictable orbit where everyone's energy feeds everyone else's. Others unconsciously drew upon your light, your warmth, your strength to keep from having to face the colder, darker corners of their own inner landscapes. And perhaps in some way, their need for your light made you feel secure in your purpose. But then, you started to awaken. You heard a whisper from your own soul that said, "There is more." You began your sacred journey inward through meditation, through healing, through art, through simply daring to ask, "Who am I really beneath the role I play?" And with every step you took toward your own authentic center, you began to change your energetic frequency. You started to withdraw your light from the roles that no longer fit. You were no longer just the sun for them. You were becoming the sun for yourself. And what happens when the sun changes its energetic output? The planets in its orbit feel the shift. They experience it as a wobble, a threat, a terrifying withdrawal. They are, in a very real sense, experiencing withdrawal from an energy source they didn't even know they were dependent on. The searing truth that will set your heart free is this: your relationships are not being destroyed by your growth. Your growth is simply revealing the truth that many of those relationships were built upon a silent, unconscious agreement that required you to stay the same. The pain your loved ones feel is not truly because you are becoming your radiant self. It is because in doing so, you are lovingly and necessarily taking away the version of you that allowed them to remain asleep to themselves. You are without a word inviting them to generate their own light. And for many, that is the most terrifying invitation of all. Have you felt this? Have you sensed them wanting the old you back, the one who played the part so perfectly? It's because they sensed the change in your energetic signature long before you ever spoke a word about your new truth. As you continue to blaze brighter, you will notice that the souls in your orbit react in three very distinct, very predictable ways. Understanding these patterns is like being handed a sacred map. It will not stop the storms, but it will help you navigate them with grace, compassion, and unwavering self-love. It will save you from the agony of believing their reaction is a true reflection of your worth. Let us speak of the first mirror, the one that can be the most confusing and heart-wrenching. This is the soul who has unconsciously projected their own unlived life, their own squandered dreams onto you. Imagine a soul I once sat with a beautiful woman we shall call Clara. Her mother had once dreamed of being a great artist, a free spirit who painted her truth across giant canvases. But life happened. She married, had children, and packed her dreams away in the attic of her soul, where they gathered dust for decades. When Clara was born, a radiant little Leo with a heart full of creative fire, the mother saw her chance. She poured all her unlived artistic ambition into her daughter. She wasn't just encouraging Clara, she was obsessively trying to live through her. But Clara's soul path was different. She became a brilliant landscape architect, creating beautiful grounded spaces, a different kind of art, one that was uniquely hers. For years, the mother felt a low-grade disappointment she couldn't name. Then, in her 40s, Clara started painting. Not for fame, not for her mother, but for the sheer explosive joy of it. She was finally claiming her own creative fire on her own terms. And how did her mother react? With a cold, inexplicable silence. She experienced Clara's authentic joy as a profound betrayal. Why? Because Clara, by becoming her own artist, shattered the projection. She was no longer a screen. upon which the mother could play the movie of her unlived life. The mother was suddenly painfully forced to face the dusty attic of her own soul. This, my dear Leo, is the keeper of the unlived dream. They don't love you, they love the part of themselves they have placed in your care. Your job was to carry their rejected potential, their abandoned ambition. When you begin to live your own life, to shine with your own authentic light, you force them to take back the heavy weight of their own unlived dreams, and it feels unbearable to them. You have these souls in your life. The parent who gets anxious when you choose a path that doesn't align with their vision of success. The friend who feels strangely threatened when you achieve something they secretly wish they had. The partner who fell in love with your potential but resents the powerful reality of who you are becoming because it doesn't match the fantasy they created. So what is the sacred practice here? When someone reacts to your growth with intense, seemingly irrational emotion, I want you to gently ask your heart this question: what unlived dream of theirs might I have been carrying for them? This is not about judging them. It is about releasing yourself from the impossible burden of their journey. You cannot fix this for them. You cannot explain yourself into their understanding because the projection is an unconscious mechanism. Your only path forward is to hold your boundaries with love, to accept that the connection may need to be limited, or in some cases, to release the relationship entirely when their projection demands that you betray your own soul. The hardest truth is this: you cannot grow into your radiant self and simultaneously maintain their projection. You must choose one. Which will it be? The second mirror you will encounter is perhaps the most challenging for this soul. Is not just projecting a dream onto you. They are actively trying to keep you from waking up because your awakening threatens the very foundation of their sleeping world. Think of a partnership as a kind of energetic castle. Many couples, without ever realizing it, build their castle on a foundation of a vow of shared slumber. The silent agreement is this: I will not look too deeply into my shadows if you will not look too deeply into yours. We will stay here in this comfortable, predictable twilight, so neither of us has to face the dragons in our own dungeons. It feels safe, it feels stable, but it is a fortress against growth. I have seen this countless times. A couple comes together and one partner, let's say the wife, is a vibrant, emotional, spiritually curious soul. She unconsciously chooses a husband who is deeply rational, emotionally contained, and grounded in the material world. His predictable stability becomes her shield, allowing her to avoid the chaotic depths of her own power. Her emotionality gives his life a color and texture he cannot access on his own. It's a perfect unconscious pact. But then one day, the husband has a crisis, a health scare, a job loss, a dark night of the soul. He begins to awaken. He starts therapy. He learns to meditate. He begins speaking of his feelings, of his soul, of a deeper meaning. He is in essence waking up inside the sleeping castle. And how does his wife, the guardian, react? With fear, with anger, with hostility. She says things like, I don't know who you are anymore. This spiritual stuff is nonsense. I want the man I married back. She is the guardian of the sleeping castle. She unconsciously needs you to stay asleep, to stay small, to stay predictable, so that she can remain unconscious about herself. Your evolution is a blazing torch in the dark corridors of her castle, and it is illuminating all the doors she has locked and barricaded for a lifetime. Your light is not just your own. It becomes a mirror, reflecting everything she is terrified to face in herself. You are dealing with a guardian when they actively sabotage your efforts to grow, mocking your new interests, creating drama every time you try to go to a workshop or meditate. They are the ones who are attracted to the very qualities in you that you are now trying to heal or transcend. And ultimately, they will give you an ultimatum: it's this new you or it's me. The only sacred path with a guardian is the conscious invitation. You must stand in your light and say with love and without apology, "My soul is calling me to grow, and I must answer." This is the journey to becoming the real me. I would love for you more than anything to walk this path with me, to find your own path beside me. But if you choose to remain in the castle, I honor your choice. What I cannot do is abandon myself to stay there with you. And then, my friend, you must watch their response. Some will miraculously hear the call and begin to stir from their own slumber. Many will decline, but may eventually respect your boundary, forcing a complete renegotiation of the relationship. But many will try to burn your part of the castle down, forcing you to make the choice they presented them, or your soul. The most painful truth is that many relationships exist only because two people have agreed to avoid growth. When one person breaks that sacred vow of slumber, the relationship, as it was, cannot survive. It must either be reborn into consciousness, or it must be allowed a sacred death. Now we come to the most subtle and in many ways the most mystifying pattern. Have you ever walked into a room and felt the energy curdle, even though you were smiling and silent? Have you noticed old friends suddenly stop calling with no fight, no drama, no explanation? You are simply in their presence, being your authentic self, and you can feel them becoming deeply uncomfortable. This is not malice. This is not projection or guardianship. This is the simple cosmic law of energetic resonance. This is the pattern of the soul mirror. Imagine your soul is a magnificent cello, and through your inner work, you have tuned your strings to a perfect, resonant frequency. Your very presence now emits a clear, beautiful, powerful note. When you enter a room full of instruments that are out of tune, that are holding on to old dissonance, untended pain, and unconscious beliefs, your clear note creates a phenomenon. It doesn't judge them. It doesn't attack them. It simply, by its very existence, reveals their untuned state to them on a subconscious level. Your harmony makes them exquisitely aware of their own dissonance. Your very presence becomes a mirror. Your consciousness reflects their unconsciousness back to them, and they experience this reflection as a vague, unsettling judgment, even when you are radiating nothing but love. They will say things like, "I don't know, you just make me feel weird," or "You're too intense for me now." They feel exhausted by conversations about the weather or celebrity gossip, because your soul is now craving conversations about the cosmos, about healing, about truth. You can see the energetic dynamics playing out between people, the unspoken resentments, the hidden agendas with blinding clarity, while everyone else insists that everything is fine. The solution here is not to untune your instrument to make them comfortable. That would be the ultimate betrayal of your soul's journey. The solution, as Jung practiced, is what I call sacred stewardship of your light. You must learn to manage your energy with impeccable wisdom. This means you maintain connections with the souls you love, who are on a different frequency, but you do it in sustainable doses. Family dinners are kept to a loving but limited time frame. You engage in surface-level conversations with grace, but you no longer seek your primary soul nourishment there. You attend social gatherings selectively with a clear intention and a planned time of departure. And most importantly, you must create what Jung called his tower, his sacred space. You must actively cultivate your own sanctuary and your own tribe of conscious souls, a place where your frequency is not just tolerated, but celebrated. This isn't about creating a spiritual fortress of isolation. That is the path of the ego. Healthy sacred withdrawal is temporary for integration and recovery. It maintains key relationships at sustainable levels. Unhealthy isolation cuts everyone off and creates a rigid superior us versus them mentality. You, my dear Leo, must have a court of fellow sons, a community of souls who can meet your light with their own. If you've noticed that your quiet presence alone makes certain people uncomfortable, it's not a sign of your failure. It is a testament to the clarity of your light. You don't judge, you just see. And your seeing is a powerful world-altering force. Now we arrive at the heart of the matter, the truth that may cause your own heart to ache, but a truth that is essential for your liberation. My beautiful Leo, not all relationships are meant to survive your awakening. Some are not meant to be reborn. They are meant for a sacred and honorable death. I want you to imagine a star. For eons, it burns in a particular way, holding a solar system in its orbit. But to evolve into its next expression, a brighter star, a nebula, a new cosmic creation, it must first go through a period of collapse. It must release the old form. This is not a tragedy. It is a necessary and holy part of its cosmic journey. So it is with your relationships. Some of the connections you are so desperately trying to save cannot be saved because they were never built on the bedrock of authentic truth. They were built on the sand of who you pretended to be meeting, who they pretended to be. They were sustained by a mutual agreement to never shine a light too brightly into the depths of each other's souls. Your becoming real is not destroying a genuine connection. It is simply revealing that a truly genuine soul-to-soul connection never actually existed in the first place. It was a relationship between two beautifully crafted masks. And when you take your mask off the play, as it was written, must end. I invite you now to perform a gentle but powerful inventory of the heart. Think of an important relationship that is causing you pain right now. And with all the love and courage you can muster, ask your soul these questions. Does this person truly know who I am becoming? Not the role I played, not their projection of me, but the real, vulnerable, powerful soul who exists when I am alone with the cosmos too. Can this person tolerate my authentic radiance when I am truly myself, setting boundaries from a place of self-love, speaking my deepest truth, expressing my needs? Do they lean in with curiosity, or do they retreat, attack, or try to diminish my light? 3. Are they on their own path of conscious evolution? Are they doing their own inner work? Or do they unconsciously need me to stay asleep so they can avoid their own journey? Be gentle, but be honest. The answers may break your heart, but they will also set you free. You may have to mourn the loss, not of the relationship that was, but of the beautiful fantasy of what you hoped it could be. This grief is sacred. It is the holy water that cleanses the ground for new, more authentic seeds to be planted. Honoring the ending of a relationship that cannot hold your light is not selfish. It is a sacred act of self-preservation and an act of reverence for the truth. Even the most profound connections may need to end. The great friendship between Carl Jung and Sigmund Freud was one of deep love and intellectual passion. But as Jung began to follow the call of his own soul, developing ideas that diverged from his mentors, Freud could only experience it as a betrayal. He could not separate the man from the theory. Jung was faced with an impossible choice: Freud's approval or his own soul. He chose his soul, and he wrote that while that choice cost him dearly, the alternative, betraying his own truth to maintain a false connection, would have cost him everything. You are facing these choices now, Leo. The partner who wants the person you were 5 years ago. The family that needs you to remain in your designated role. The friend who can only connect through shared negativity. You must choose your soul every single time. But do not despair, my radiant friend. For after the fire, after the collapse, after the sacred goodbyes, comes something more beautiful than you can possibly imagine. The death of the old paves the way for the birth of genuine conscious connection. Unconscious relationships are based on fusion. You complete me. I can't live without you. It's a relationship of two halves desperately clinging to each other to feel whole. But conscious relationships, the kind your soul is now ready for, operate on wholeness. The foundation is, I am a complete and sovereign son, and you are a complete and sovereign son, and we choose to create a new galaxy together, orbiting each other in reverence without ever eclipsing one another's light. This is what becomes possible now. A relationship between two whole people. What does this new kingdom look like? 1. Sacred sovereignty. You know where your energy ends and theirs begins. You take radical responsibility for your own emotions, your own triggers, your own happiness. You are not responsible for regulating their emotional state, and they are not responsible for yours. 2. Radical authenticity. You show up gloriously and vulnerably as you truly are. You no longer perform. You no longer edit your truth to be more palatable. This takes immense courage, but it is the only way to be truly seen and therefore truly loved for who you are. 3. Shadow alchemy. You can hold space for their darkness without needing to fix it, and they can witness your shadow without being threatened by it. You both understand that wholeness includes the rage, the grief, the fear, all the parts of the self that we were taught to hide. 4. Conscious creation. Conflict is not a sign of failure. It is an opportunity for deeper intimacy. You learn to fight cleanly, to speak of the true issue, to seek understanding over victory. After a conscious conflict, you are closer, not more distant, because one more layer of illusion has been burned away. This is the love that is waiting for you, Leo. A love that doesn't demand you dim your shine. A love that isn't afraid of your roar. A love that wants to build a throne right next to yours, not to rule you, but to rule a shared kingdom with you. To call this in, you must cultivate it within. Practice the ritual of authenticity. Each day, identify one small moment where you chose to be real instead of performing. Practice the art of luminous boundaries. Set one small, loving boundary each week, and notice how the universe rewards your self-honor. And most importantly, seek your community of the conscious. You cannot maintain your radiance in isolation. You need other suns to reflect your light back to you. But there is one final trap on this journey, a subtle and seductive shadow that can undo all of your beautiful work. It is a trap that is particularly potent for a magnificent soul like you, Leo. It is the trap of spiritual inflation. This is what happens when your genuine awakening gets hijacked by the ego. You have done the work. You have faced the dragons. You have accessed profound truths. But then a subtle shift occurs. Consciousness becomes superiority. Evolution becomes elitism. You begin to think, I am awake, and they are all asleep. I see the truth, and they are lost in illusion. Have you met this person? The one who wields their consciousness like a weapon, who cannot have a simple conversation without psychoanalyzing everyone, who subtly places themselves at the top of a spiritual hierarchy. This is not true consciousness. This is the ego dressing up in spiritual robes to feel special and safe. For a Leo, this can manifest as becoming the sun king or queen who looks down upon their subjects with a mixture of pity and contempt. It is the most profound form of loneliness. Your wife saved me from inflation, Jung wrote, by refusing to worship at the altar of my supposed enlightenment. She loved me enough to tell me I was being an ass. Who in your life loves you enough to keep you grounded? The antidote to this golden cage of ego is sacred humility. It is the practice of the eternal beginner's mind. It is regularly acknowledging how much you do not know. It is maintaining ordinary relationships that keep you tethered to the beautiful, messy reality of being human. It is doing anonymous acts of service. It is remembering that your consciousness is not a status symbol to be worn like a crown. It is a sacred gift, and it carries with it a profound responsibility to serve with love, not to judge with superiority. The final integration is this: you are fully yourself, a radiant, powerful sun. You are deeply connected, where conscious connection is possible. You are lovingly boundaried, where it is not. You are neither superior nor diminished. You are simply gloriously real. My magnificent Leo, your spiritual growth is indeed destroying your relationships, and thank the cosmos for that. It is destroying the cages, the illusions, the contracts based on fear and codependence. It is clearing the stage of your life of all the actors who could only love your mask. And in that vast, sacred space, you are creating true soul-to-soul connections. The ones that can match your fire and dance in your light will finally have room to appear. The question is not how to stop the destruction. The question is, do you have the courage to let it all burn? To stand in the center of the holy fire of your own becoming, trusting that what emerges from the ashes will be a kingdom built on nothing less than the purest love and the most unwavering truth. Thank you for walking this sacred path with me today. Let me know which part of this message resonated most deeply in your heart. Your story is a beacon for others.